Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, July 25th, 2019. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Persons here found with less than 2 ounces of cannabis or marijuana could avoid a jail sentence and a criminal record. These are part of the amendments to the Drug Prevention and Misuse Bill 2019 debated in Parliament today. The proposed changes will also make it illegal for persons to use the drug in their homes or at places of Rastafarian worship. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said with the amendments, the maximum penalty that the court can impose for the possession of 2 ounces of cannabis is $500 EC. A key component of the law is providing health information to those found with the substance. PM Gonsalves said as long as a person accepts liability for 2 ounces or under, he or she can avoid a fine by accepting the key health information about the substance.
This man gives you a card, and the card, on one side of the card, provides educational information. The card says to you that if you misuse and abuse it, it may be dangerous, and indicates to you where you can get more information. On the other side of the card is health information. The health information here is where you can get counselors, you can get counseling. And the policeman must draw to your attention if you're under 18 or if it appears reasonably to him that you're dependent on the drug, dependent on the cannabis, they have to point out specifically to you where you can get counseling.
The Prime Minister further explained that where a person refuses to accept liability for the substance, the maximum penalty that can be imposed is $500 EC. He said the penalty will be the same for those found smoking in public but not accepting liability, and for those who accept liability, it will be a ticketable offense.
For smoking in public is the same $500 if you go to the magistrate court. If you say, it ain't me as is smoking, or what I smoking is sagebush, don't tell me it's ganja, well then you take a chance with the magistrate and the test is done. But if you say it's my weed and I'm smoking in public, you pay a ticket like it's a driver, the cheapest of the driver's offense. You pay $80 and you have a month to pay it. If you don't pay it, the very notice which you get will be used as the summons to take you in front of the magistrate court. But remember, the magistrate, it's a civil debt. I know persons would say that the magistrate can send you to jail for contempt of court if you don't pay. But the law is saying you shouldn't be jailed for it.
The law will allow for the Minister of National Security to designate places where the drug can be smoked. PM Gonsalves, however, warned that one must not have the substance on school premises.
If you have whatever quantity you have on you, it could be 1 ounce, and you're on school premises, it's a criminal offense. It's not. You don't get to discharge your liability because that's a serious thing. You mustn't have it there the school children are. And you can't have it where you can't have it at events, sporting events and cultural events where you have school children. So we're protecting the children. We're dealing it with a health and educational manner. Not arrestable, no incarceration, no jail term, no record, all within the International Narcotics Convention.
Meanwhile, leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, highlighted what he calls inconsistencies found with the amendments and made some suggestions on what he believes is a better way forward. Dr. Friday said while the amendments allow for persons to possess 2 ounces or less of cannabis, that person will still have to purchase it from an illegal vendor. Dr. Friday recommended that persons therefore be allowed to grow small amount of the plant at their home to avoid supporting illegal ventures.
They have to get it from an illegal trafficker. As it is now, if he can't grow it himself, you have to purchase it from somebody who is doing it illegally because you can't grow it yourself. So how you have a regime that's saying you are making it more permissible for persons to smoke in a public place or to possess up to 15 grams, but they have to buy it from somebody who produces it illegally. Why are you shaking your head? But how else would you do it if you can't grow it yourself? Where do you get it from? So my proposal, Mr. Speaker, is if you're going to do it, make it a complete circle. If you want to have small possession, have small quantities that you grow it yourself. So therefore, you don't have to go and purchase it from somebody who is a trafficker and doing and encouraging, in a sense, by this legislation, the use and trafficking at the same time. I don't see why that is so complicated.
Addressing the issue of smoking in public places, Dr. Friday said while the law makes it a ticketable offense, it can lead to economic hardship for some. He again recommends changes to be made to allow the law to be more even-handed.
If there is more than one ticket that's issued over the period of time, then $80 can amount to quite a severe fine. So there has to be, Mr. Speaker, some way of ensuring that the discretion of the officers who are enforcing this bill is exercised in an even-handed way and not in any personal or biased manner. There are some people, we know on the block, there are some people whom officers have tended to target. You can't have people being targeted and brought to court because everybody now believes that the regime is such that you can have possession and not face criminal penalty. And then you have an officer who targets 1 or 2 persons. I'm not saying that there are many officers like that. But they bring them to court every Monday morning on a fine.
The opposition leader further told Parliament that while he recognizes the science which has concern for young persons, the drug can bring tremendous benefits to SVG.
Of tourism and tax revenue for the government. This has been shown in other jurisdictions. I know in Canada they're just going through this now, but in Colorado it has been proven to be an economic benefit. Now, I wouldn't be saying this, Mr. Speaker, if I thought that it would be, on balance, harmful to society or to the individuals. But we've seen that the science and history has shown otherwise. But, Mr. Speaker, we have to move forward based on our own circumstances. And for me, I feel that our circumstances suggest that in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we should be ahead of the curve. We should be leading.
You got to wrap it up, please. In
this area and not be so hesitant and reluctant.
You say timid.
Timid.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes, I know you don't like it. You're just saying so.
I like it. I'm timid.
In other news, the second biannual Criminal Justice Stakeholders Conference, All Right 2019, opened here last evening with a reception at the Prime Minister's residence. The conference draws several local criminal justice stakeholder agencies such as the Magistracy, the Attorney General Chambers, SVG Bar Association, and the newly launched National Prosecution Service. Larissa Pugsley-Kidd tells us more in this report.
Conference, all right meaning applying lawful responses to intercepting gangsters, hustlers and transgressors, will see more than 10 stakeholder agencies in St. Vincent and the Grenadines participating in the conference. The areas being addressed are homicide, forensic pathology, sexual offences, witness care, human trafficking, digital evidence, civil recovery, money laundering and drug offences. Speaking at the official opening ceremony last evening, Director of Public Prosecutions Acting, Sajila McDowell says, advancing the criminal justice system in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is paramount to the development of this country.
Everybody has a part to play in ensuring that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is crime-free. 2017 had a regional focus. 2019, we are about fixing our homegrown issues and building our national capacity to fight against crime.
The regional security system in Barbados is facilitating and supports the hosting of the All Right Conference, as well as the National Anti-Money Laundering Committee. Executive Director of the RSS, Arrington Shorland, said, St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to strengthen its criminal justice system and recommitted to supporting the newly launched National Prosecution Service.
And as the RSS would have supported the initiative in 2017, I'm very, very happy to be part of this initiative in 2019. And I suggest, Right Honourable Prime Minister, that we will continue to support St. Vincent and the Grenadines in their initiatives, which obviously will lead to development, because I'm the firm believer that without security, there can be no development.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves noted that criminal, trans-border and money laundering are areas of concern, but major improvements have been made to clamp down on illegal activities. The PM pointed out that this country was blacklisted because of not addressing this problem. However, this has changed. The PM believes that there is always room for improvement.
It doesn't, you get the talk about police corruption. The truth is this: there is very little evidence of it. It's not to say that the police are angels, but in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I think we have a reputation for honesty in the police force, and I want to thank the Commissioner of the police force.
At the conference, presentations will be done on judge-only versus jury trial, interagency cooperations and evidence gathering. Stakeholder agencies at the conference include the Magistracy, the Attorney General Chambers, Financial Intelligence Unit, Customs and Excise Department, Immigration Department, Inland Revenue, the RSVG Police Force, Prisons Authority and the SVG Bar Association. Facilitators are drawn from local and overseas agencies. Reporting for SVGTV News, Larissa Pugsley-Kidd.
The National Prosecution Service, the NPS, is expected to work closely with victims and witnesses in criminal matters. And according to Criminal Justice Advisor for the Eastern Caribbean and Barbados, Sarah Abraham, winning the public trust in this endeavor is key. Abraham said that it is also important that the Director of Public Prosecution and the National Prosecution Service at all times be fair and impartial.
As experience has shown in other jurisdictions, an NPS will improve the integrity of the process, improve consistency in decision making, instill confidence in victims and witnesses, and reduce the time it takes for cases to be heard. Operationally, a National Prosecution Service is more cost-effective and efficient system, which will, among other things, give the police back their core functions.
Public education and information for witnesses and victims will also be provided. 2 new publications were handed over to the Director of Public Prosecution at yesterday's ceremony.
A code for prosecutors, a manual of guidance, a law library soon to be making its way here, and may I hand over to the Director of Public Prosecutions the 2 latest publications for the DPP's office. An advice leaflet for witnesses, so every person who is a victim of crime gets to know the criminal justice system when they first report.
With the NPS now in place, persons are being encouraged not to be afraid to speak up whether they are a victim or witness of a crime. A project that trained 5 families here in SVG to build their own biogas digester has won an international award. The Richmond Vale Academy, the RVA, won the Energy Globe Award based on the project, which also teaches local communities about the benefits of biogas as a renewable energy, global warming, climate change, and organic farming. This is the 2nd consecutive year that the institution has won the National Energy Globe Award. Last year's winner was the RVA's Passing on Sustainable Model Gardens, with more than 182 participating countries and over 2,000 project submissions annually. The Energy Globe Award is the most prestigious environmental prize worldwide. It distinguishes projects regionally, nationally, and globally that conserve resources such as energy or utilize renewable or emission-free sources. The aim of the Energy Globe is to raise global attention on sustainable, everywhere applicable environmental solutions and to motivate people to also become active in this area. The Richmond Vale Academy Biogas Digester project seeks to create a financially viable model for ordinary families to produce their own biogas for cooking. It also aims at increasing awareness about climate change and adaptation strategies in terms of renewable energy sources, reducing pollution and building resilience. The Academy said the focus of the project has been on training volunteers, raising awareness about climate change issues, reforestation and conservation efforts, pollution reduction, education of youth, and promoting climate-smart agriculture. Climate change continues to impact various communities here in SVG, and the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IECA, is continuing its efforts to help to build resilience to disaster impacts in the agriculture sector. To this end, IECA recently hosted a 4-day workshop here designed to introduce a new method for assessing community resilience, with 18 participants drawn from public sector agencies. IECA technical specialist Michael Dalton said the use of the method allows for a determination of community priority areas of concern in relation to climate-related impacts and the course of action they would wish to see implemented to address these concerns and in the process improve resilience of these communities.
We propose to provide you with further capacity development training intended to equip you with a new methodology for measuring community resilience. Use of this methodology provides the basis for determining a community's priorities for interventions to build climate resilience. It also provides the basis for measuring the impact of actions undertaken for the purpose of building resilience in these target communities. The workshop objective is therefore to build the competence of technical stakeholder agencies involved in such community development work to operate in a more systematic fashion. It is also the intention of the workshop organizers that stakeholders will be able to identify priority issues for community action and formulate project outlines for intervention in target communities by the end of the workshop. These project instruments, once fully elaborated, can then become the basis for intervention for community support to build resilience. This is the scientific approach to addressing these issues.
Dalton urged the participants to use the knowledge gained wisely to bring meaningful change to the communities they serve.
Its ultimate goal may not be immediate, but the approach is technically sound. I urge you to participate to the fullest. Remember, the basis of any good action is knowledge. Knowledge is acquired through study. Knowledge must be actioned to make meaningful change to those whom we serve. So learn well over the next 4 days. But immediately, think of how you can action this knowledge that you are about to acquire. I wish to thank the Ministry of Agriculture for its support in organizing this workshop. I thank all of the collaborating agencies present here today. And I look forward to continuing our work beyond the life of this workshop to bring meaningful change to the people we serve. Thank you very much. Enjoy the next 4 days.
Members of the Lord's Deliverance Baptist Church will host their annual appreciation service to recognize the hard work of the men and women of the RSVG Police Force this Sunday under the theme, Tell Me How Big Your God Is. This year's service marks 24 consecutive years since the Lord's Deliverance Baptist Church has been hosting the appreciation service for the members of the RSVG Police Force. The appreciation service first began under the leadership of retired Commissioner of Police Randall Toussaint in 1995 and has continued under successive Commissioners of Police. Sunday's Thanksgiving service is scheduled to commence at 2 p.m. and will hear brief remarks from Commissioner of Police Colin John, Minister of Education, Sinclair Jimmy Prince, Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, Saboto Caesar, retired Commissioners of Police, among others. The sermon will be delivered by Ransom Humphrey.